And we're coming to you live from the Rocket Health Studios here in sunny Southwest Florida. Welcome to another edition of the Tyler McClosky Show. This week, bringing back a fan favorite, make it the Tyler and the Nick Show. Got Nick back in studio with us today to go over all the facts, not feelings, in regards to your health insurance. And we promise, if you're watching us on TV, we did not coordinate, but we both just came from the Players a couple weeks ago, and we've got our Players shirts on. So, Nick, welcome into the studio today. Thanks for coming.
I've been itching to have a reason to wear my new shirt.
And you picked the perfect time.
Perfect time.
So
I didn't even know we were going to be on camera today. I just naturally look.
Well, you know, in the new studio, we always have to make sure we're broadcasting on all channels, everything that we can possibly do.
How long has this show been going on now for?
A little over 2 years.
2 years already, right?
Yep.
And we're still not the Tyler and Nick Show yet. I've been advocating that since episode 3, I think.
Well, I mean, you've only been on a handful of times. Don't steal my thunder too much. But, you know, everybody knows Nick's been here helping us out, giving a lot of the information on the insurance side of the business for us as well, too. Just to give a different side of it, somebody that's more in the field with different clienteles and businesses and everything else. So we'll kind of discuss some of that this week. Get to you really on some certain points, some talking points. Before we jump into that, let's give out the phone number to everybody, 239-633-3140. Again, 239-633-3140, or you can visit online at www.rockethealth.com, www.rockethealth.com. So, Nick, what's your talking points this week? I know you had a couple things on your mind that you wanted to go over and review. Why don't you just go ahead and start the show off? Let's hear what you got.
Start it. I mean, it's just been the normal, you know, as a health insurance broker out there, the normal calls we get coming in. A lot of people that are getting hit tax time. Here it is. They're looking at those subsidies that they got, and some people are getting the sticker shock of owing some of them back. I haven't got any outrageous amounts yet like we did last year, but again, we are still kind of early as far as the tax filings and everything go. But we have been able to get a lot of people switched off of those subsidized plans, and they had no idea that private health insurance was out there and how affordable it could be for their family. And on top of that, how great the networking is and everything else for these people that are, you know, getting ready to go back up north. I know we got a lot of our snowbirds listening, and it's about getting to that time, if they're going to go back, I guess.
I mean, looking at the traffic, I don't know if anybody's leaving. But to kind of talk onto that point, and I know we bring it up in casual conversation, but let's get very much down to the specifics of how your taxes are implicated with your health insurance if you are on a plan through the Affordable Care Act or healthcare.gov. As we know, we're getting into the beginning of April right now. People will be filing their taxes coming up here in the next 2 weeks if they haven't done so already. And some of you, for the very first time, might actually finally see that you have to pay back that subsidy that you got last year. And the ones that are going to be affected the most by it were the ones that had this massive increase of a subsidy that the government just kind of handed out at the end of 2021. So it made it look like your insurance was more enticing to get through healthcare.gov because of that large subsidy. But what we are already finding out as of right now, and what Nick just mentioned too, is that besides the couple of $100 a month that people are having to owe back, which amounts to a couple $1,000s a year, the bigger ones that are coming up at the middle to end of April as people get, you know, a little bit later on, usually those are the ones that we see that come to us and say, I had to pay $12,000 to $15,000 back on my taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah, and it's horrible. And the one thing that really, you know, kind of hits hard is you have these people that they weren't necessarily looking for a free insurance plan last year when getting into this. They had a budget, you know, where somebody that was in their 50s could afford $200 to $300 a month for a decent health insurance plan. They didn't know there was private health insurance available out there. Well, an ACA plan for somebody 50, 60 years old, for a decent plan, you're looking at $800, $900, $1,100 sometimes, depending on what you want to go with. So again, they had a budget of $200 to $300 that they could afford it. Well, now they're subsidized. Okay, you get a $600 a month subsidy, and now you're back into that $200, $300 range that they're paying for that ACA plan. Well, some things happened down the road this last year. They made more money. They made less money. They don't qualify for the subsidy they thought they did.
Well, that's a big thing right there, too, is people don't realize making less money can also affect your subsidy. And just because you think, oh, I made more, now I might have to pay back more into it, no big deal. No, you can make less money than what you put on there, and it can still affect your subsidy and possibly remove it altogether.
Correct.
There's bare minimum thresholds that people have to make in order to get a subsidy at all. We're not going to get in the deep weeds about that, but it is the absolute truth. And if anybody's dealing with that right now, you're going to start seeing that as you file your taxes. And it might be the very first time you have to deal with it.
It's like the yodeling guy game on The Price is Right. That's how the subsidy works. You're going up the little mountain, and you're getting your subsidy. If you're too low, you're not going to get enough of a subsidy. But if you get too high too, you're falling off the mountain and you lost your subsidy there as well. But again, back to the point, you had somebody that had a decent budget to get a good major medical PPO plan on the private market. They fell into this subsidy trap. Now they owe all this money back. And what the worst part is, they had money to get a great PPO plan from the beginning of the year where they didn't even have to take the chance on the subsidy. Now that $600 a month subsidy that they did receive, they're told that it was only accounted to a $200 a month subsidy. So now they owe $400 per month for the whole last year that they're going to pay back on their taxes. Now you're looking at what, $4,800 that you're having to pay back at the end of the year for an insurance plan you didn't even need to overspend on to begin with. Private health insurance is out there. It is the most affordable thing out there. Granted, you need to be healthy, on the healthy side. If you have a major pre-existing condition, then there are other things you need to look into. But for the most part, when most people are generally healthy, they just want insurance to cover them in case something outrageous happens or just in a little doctor's visit here and there, whatever. There are excellent choices out there for them. They don't need to take the risk in going for a subsidy.
Yep. And if anybody needs to call in today to go over that, if you haven't listened to us before, and if you're a new listener and you want to know all the information about your health insurance and what is on that private market, that's what we're here to do. We educate every single weekend, and then we get a decent amount of phone calls that come through there that obviously turn into, we help them enroll into the best plan. So the phone number to reach us directly is 239-633-3140. 239-633-3140. And I'm going to go back to that point a little bit there, because what's happening now more than ever, anybody listening, driving in your car and trying to pay attention to your health insurance right now, have you ever gone online and made the mistake of typing in your information and got absolutely bombarded with phone calls?
And that works for anything, not just insurance.
Anything.
Trying to refinance a home or anything like that.
But specifically more, I would even say, in the insurance game more than anything else. Has that happened to anybody? Have you had to do that? And what you're typically going to notice and find out and see, that if you can actually get through with that person that's trying to talk to you and understand what they're telling you, they're mostly offering two things. Either they're jumping directly into what is your income to find out how much of a subsidy that you can actually get, or they're selling a discount or indemnity style plan that is not major medical. And the one thing that I'm going to talk about that we pride ourselves on more than anything else is we ask what your needs are, not what your income is. And everybody needs to remember that your income should not dictate what type of health insurance that you're buying. It's your good health. It's you've had coverage in the past. You've taken care of everything. You are in a position to get the best health insurance plan available, not how much is your income. Because if it's tied to your income, there's always a catch.
Always.
And everybody needs to remember that if you're simply only doing it because of income. Now, what I said about everybody in good health, your good health buys you a good plan. Don't get me wrong. There are options now. There have been options for the last 10 years on the Affordable Care Act and guaranteed issue style plans for the individuals that have pre-existing conditions due to no fault of their own. God forbid that anybody's in that type of situation. You will be taken care of properly. But one thing is that you're not going to get from us is we're not going to sit here and say, what is your income, just to try to give you the cheapest plan in the market so we can get an enrollment fee from the carrier. That's not what we do.
Well, that, and you got to keep in mind too, sometimes some of these salesmen, and I'm going to just call them what they are, they're salesmen. They're also asking for your income to see what they can stack. They're not in it for your needs. And another way you can tell is you get that plan from them, try calling them back a month or two down the road. If you lost your ID card and you need to get a new ID card or something like that, or you need help with something, try calling them back and see how quickly they answer and get back to you for anything where they actually have to go, do their job as your agent and assisting you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And again, that's why working with a local agent, understanding what it is you're getting into makes the most sense. Phone number again, 239-633-3140, 239-633-3140. If you want to visit our site, as I just stated, if you go directly to rockethealth.com or tylermcclosky.com, either one. So www.rockethealth.com or tylermcclosky.com. If you do, check out the site. Don't put anything in yet. You can read just some reviews, look at how we are, how we operate, what we're trying to show you, everybody that's on there. And then if you do decide to put your information in and you don't want to call in directly, you will only be contacted by one of our licensed agents inside of our organization. Your information is never sold on the open market, which happens more times than not. And the thing is, too, why maybe we could get a lot more customers and sales, we're not going to hound you. If this is something that you want, and we're going to call a couple times to make sure we get that initial appointment. But if we don't connect or we tell you what the situation is, that's maybe our lack of salesmanship on our side, because we do not hound you over and over and over again. Here's the deal, guys. Here's the situation. Here's what you're looking for. Here's what's available to you. How would you like to proceed forward? And we'll make our best recommendation, and we'll try to be very persistent in getting you enrolled in that right plan. But we're definitely not going to be the ones that continue to call you 10 times a day, every single day. So anybody that needs that, 239-633-3140. We're going to take a quick short break, and when we come back, we are going to go over the actual examples of the pricings of plans, where they're at today as of April 2023, so you guys know exactly what it is we're looking at and how much those pricings are. Everybody stay tuned. You're listening to the Tyler McClosky Show. Welcome back to the Tyler McClosky Show, coming to you live from the Rocket Health Studios here in Southwest Florida, and every single Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on 92.5 Fox News. Sitting in studio with my good buddy and one of our senior agents here at Rocket Health, Nick Norris. Nick, I know that we've got a couple examples to talk about today, and for the ones that have listened to us before, some of these may sound repetitive, but we want to give you where the market's at today in April of 2023, what some of that pricing looks like, and how that's going to affect this specific customer. So we're going to start with that person that is, maybe it's bridge to Medicare, where that can be a 2 to 3 years until their Medicare starts, or even in that 5 to 10 year range, because they're kind of all in that same situation. So who's the ones that we just did this past week? Kind of what are those examples? What are they looking like at pricing?
This last week has been actually a huge range, all the way from the top to the bottom. As always, we get so many calls from our listeners down in Collier County area and things like that are right on the cusp of retiring. They want to see what it looks like, what they're going to be facing when they do decide to retire, which route should they take as far as trying to take Cobra, anything like that. And they're usually, right around 61, 62, 63 in that age range. And I got a couple in the 55s, 57s, But for somebody that is right in their 60s, we are right there on the cusp. We're right in the home stretch, if you will, to getting set up with your Medicare. And we have plans that are outstanding for that it's a one and done shot. We're going to get you set up, you're locked in, and your rates are going to, you're going to get taken right through to Medicare. So nothing's going to be taken from you. Your benefits, your deductibles aren't going to be, jacked up on you if, God forbid, you get diagnosed with something in that stretch between, 62 to Medicare. And then for, those that are in their 50s and stuff like that, again, we have 3-year plans that we'll only have to revisit those plans maybe once or twice before you're going to Medicare too.
But getting down to the actual pricing of it, and that's what I think a lot of us want to know. And I'm even going to pull some of this up while we're talking so that even the ones that are watching us online know that we're not just making up some random numbers that are in here, okay? And again, quick number for the show, 239-633-3140. I want to give out some of these examples of somebody that's in Lee or Collier County that, again, most of it's going to be this husband and wife that are bridging that gap to Medicare. And like Nick just said, you might have had that option for Cobra, and let me tell you how much Cobra really is. If you haven't already seen it, some of you are going to be much surprised and sticker shocked on how high that Cobra cost is.
Well, it's especially bad because most people went from paying little to nothing while they're on the plan because their employer covers the majority of it to then paying an exponentially higher rate than what you would find anywhere else for any other insurance.
Absolutely. So as we look at something like this, and we're looking at this example here is for two 60-year-olds. And going through all of this together, I want everybody to understand what it is and what we do. At Rocket Health, we offer all the top 3 major medical carriers that are available on the market today, such as United Healthcare, Allstate Health, Aetna, Cigna, and Pivot Health. Those are our carrier partners very specifically, and they will cover you for all of your needs for anything that's needed on the health insurance side of your business. Depending on where you need to be price-wise is all going to depend on your deductible and your out-of-pocket expenses. On that private market, though, you are looking to get a major medical plan that is not a discount plan, not an indemnity plan, and not something that your income is tied to it to where you may have to possibly pay taxes back at the end of the year. So for a 61-year-old couple in Southwest Florida that is now getting into the private space, needing to bridge that gap to Medicare, they can both be covered for under $900 a month. For both of you.
Can't beat it. And here's the other part too. People don't understand how absolutely dynamic the private market is, and that's where we are really able to help you. Because again, tell me what you're looking for. What is your wants? What is your needs? You know, we're going to fill those, and then we're going to look at your budget and get it into that budget that you need. You're talking about two 60-year-olds right there. I just did a family of 3 last night. Literally a newborn that's 31 days old, a husband and wife that are in their 30s, and we got them on a great plan, co-pays, PPO, everything that they wanted, $520. $520. Family of 3 in Lee County. You're not going to be able to beat it. And that's supplemented too, because here's the other thing. Everybody has health insurance and you have your deductible. And you know, if I break my leg and I have my $3,200 deductible, I'm out of pocket that $3,200 before the insurance is going to cover my hospitalization or whatever. All of these plans are going to be supplemented to cover that deductible for you if you do have a hospitalization. If your kid's out riding his bike and he hits a curb and he breaks his arm, guess what? Everything's covered. You know, there is no $3,200 out of pocket. Everything is going to be set up for you the way you need it.
I like to see you get a little fired up there.
Oh, I love it. You know, and it brings me to my quick little thing, and this kind of just hit me when, you know, what is the one thing we hear from people that aren't insured? I'm healthy. I don't ever go to the doctor. I don't need insurance. Well, do you have homeowners insurance? How often is your house on fire? But you still carry homeowners insurance, right? Just because you don't go to the doctor now doesn't mean you're not going to need to go to the doctor for something down the road. Nobody sketches into their calendar like, okay, April 3rd, I'm going to take a trip to the ER when I break my foot. Come on now. Let's be real.
And that's the thing too, is like people have not been educated enough or put a priority emphasis enough on their health insurance benefits. Why? Homeowners insurance. Why do 90% of the people have it? Because your mortgage company makes you have it. Your auto insurance. Why do 90% of the people have it? Because your car loan says you have to have it, or the state that you drive in says you have to have it. Okay? So, yes, while I immensely disagreed with the premise of Obamacare that came out and said we're going to tax you if you don't have health insurance, the only good thing about that definitely not the tax part of it, was that they forced an open enrollment time period that was just 6 weeks out of the year that said, all right, if you're going to be able to get it, you have to get it during this time period because it can't just be given out only when you need it. Then that's not health insurance. And again, the debate can be completely different from health care versus health insurance. Healthcare is totally different. We're not here to talk about how good healthcare is or not, how much the doctors charge outrageous amounts or not. The pricing should be much lower for everybody. 150%, we agree with that. That's healthcare, the healthcare system, the healthcare debate. That's got to come out of the equation of what health insurance is. You have insurance for everything. You have insurance for your phone. You have insurance for your pet. How many people here, believe it or not, I can't understand it, have insurance for their pet? And you're, oh, don't raise your hand. Oh my God. Well, at least you have health insurance for your entire family. So
when you got a dog that likes to eat everything, those little insurance things to get his, stomach looked at in an X-ray for free, it comes in handy.
But seriously, break that down into that normal conversation standpoint. Most people's America's car, their insurance is covering a $40,000 hunk of metal. And that might even be high for the average.
That's high.
Okay. Your pet insurance, you're insuring the cost of a $1,000 to $10,000 dog. Now, that's a different connection because there's an emotional connection with that. But the supplemental benefits, you're talking about covering anywhere from $1,000 to maybe $10,000 of vet bills. You're not covering necessarily the life. So you're getting insurance to cover that. Mm-hmm. You're getting insurance to cover your cell phone. That's $1,000. How much is your life worth? Not living or dead. How much is your life worth? So then you can have that debate and say, yeah, it cost $500,000 to do an organ transplant. Or we need to have you in ICU for 18 days for multiple surgeries for an accident that you just had. And we fly in the top doctors in the area to make sure you are 100% livable. And yeah, that costs $387,000. So now when we talk about the pricing in your health insurance, add up that cost of what it is for your car insurance, your pet insurance, your phone insurance. Well, guess what? When you look at the average of $450 for a very good health insurance plan for a middle-aged single person, it's probably not that bad of a rate considering they're covering you for millions of dollars of things that could potentially happen to you and anything that needs to make sure your life is taken care of.
Well, not even just the cost aspect, but the treatment aspect to get the service from the top facilities, the top doctors. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. A doctor does not go to college for 8 to 12 years to not make money. When they see somebody needing a surgery and that person does not have health insurance, and then you got 50 other people needing that same surgery and they have health insurance, I'm sorry, but who's the doctor going to make himself available for?
Yep.
It is what it is.
And that's why you have to have a reputable insurance plan. So that goes back to the whole point of I'm going to self-pay, or I don't need it. I'm healthy. I'm good. I can pay out of pocket, or I'll just get something here. I hate to say it, guys. If you don't have the right plan with the right card and the right logo, there's a potential that you might not get the right service.
100%.
And that's the facts. Phone number again, 239-633-3140. 239-633-3140. We do this show every single Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on 92.5 Fox News. You can also catch us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, and now on YouTube, streaming the whole show on YouTube as well. But as you can tell, the passion that we get into is we can have a discussion about this all day long on what's right, what's wrong, how do we fix it, how do we get better. That's why I created Rocket Health last year. That's why I had a lot of friends and family, and with Nick sitting here across from me today, that put their trust and belief into Rocket Health to make sure that not only are they taking care of their friends, their family, their neighbors, our clientele, they're also creating a lifestyle for themselves that they can do very well and feel good about what they're doing by actually putting you guys into the best plan at the best price.
And that's one awesome thing as far as like what we do now. I mean, we are starting to bring in new agents, and there's people out there that have their 215 license and haven't been using it. You know, they've been doing other things, and they unfortunately got started off with a company that maybe wasn't giving them the best platform to help people, and they just got out of it. And now we've brought in some of these people, and when they're able to see what exactly they can do with that license and being able to access all these different providers and find the best plans for all of their clients, it gets them pumped up. I'm pumped up just talking about it. I'm ready to go, go do some stuff, But it's great to be able to bring in more agents and get them on the right track. I'm so thankful that when I started doing this, that I started on the right track. I've known some people that they were with companies that only offer one product, and that product is not what was best for the clients by any means. Now, I'm not saying even when you have everything, there's not just one product that's going to be for every single person. It doesn't exist. Some people need a higher deductible with an absolutely low premium just to cover them if they do get hospitalized. There's other people that like to go to the doctors, 5 times a year, and they want copays. They want this, they want that. We were able to offer all that to them. And now when you see these new agents come in and they're like, wow, so I don't have to just do this one thing for every single person and try to talk every single person into this one plan. It's a game changer. So I was going to mention the plan, but I'm not going to mention it.
So you hear it now today. Nick is officially recruiting. So bookmark it, checkbox it, let it known that if Nick is not recruiting in a bunch of agents, then he's not living up to his promise here on the radio. So that's our time for today, this week, guys. I want to give out the phone number information one more time, 239-633-3140, 239-633-3140. 3140. And again, I hope that we bring some insight into this industry for you. I hope it's a little bit entertaining. As you can see, we designed this show to be more of that radio style show instead of just an infomercial on a Saturday. And I think that's why our following is so high. It's a lot higher than I expected it to be. And who knows where this is going to take us next. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, give us a call, send us a text message, shoot us an email, 239-633-3140. You guys have all been listening to the Tyler McClosky Show. We'll see you next week.